Good afternoon, all, and welcome to Crossroads for another day of fun and folly. Okay, our first one today is going to be Angela when she connects. Um, I think she's having some connection issues, and we will wait for her to come on. In the meantime, guys, don't forget if you do want to come on, we still got space left, but we are filling right up now. We even going into October now, so please uh, contact us if you want a spot. Okay. Um, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to send Angela another link, and yeah, we hopefully we will be able to connect there. Um, no. So we're still waiting, guys. We're just sending some information now to our guest. Things do happen. We do send people, instructions and everything to our guests, but I suppose they not look at them, and that's why sometimes we have problems like this. But it can't be helped. It goes with the territory. Yeah. So anyway, guys. So we will have Angela on at 2 o'clock. What we do is we use it and go around for about 5-10 minutes, and see what happens. Who's having a good day anyway? Let's have a look at a video in the meantime while we're trying to sort this out. All our guests, guys, if you do want to come on our show, just get told about the link, all the information, everything. And yeah, so there you go.
This is Go Henry. It's a card and an app. It teaches kids how money works safely.
Who's that?
Hello, ma'am.
Oh, we paid him last week.
No.
Who's there?
Harry.
Harry.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, like. You got on with it?
No. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. All right. Just, I'm actually going into a meeting at the moment. So what we can do? Can we rearrange that? I did actually email you to ask if we could rearrange that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. At 3:40. Yeah, at 3:45 we can do that. Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye now. Bye-bye. Hi, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Sorry about that. I just got a call from Facebook. And yeah, anyway. So, how are you?
I'm okay. Are we okay to start now? Is it? Can we?
Yeah, we can definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
certainly. And
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Crossroads. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, put it into your left-hand column, and people who's listening on the radio, make sure you do it on your right-hand column. And okay, so are you okay there?
we are okay. How are you?
Good. Tell us about yourself.
Tell you about myself. What would you like to know? I have a big story. Is it about me, about what I do, about who I work with? Specifically.
So what do you actually do? Tell me your story.
Right. What I do is help parents of teenagers raise highly effective teenagers, right? That's what I do. Who I am is I am an adolescent psychologist, and I am, again, as I said, I am a parenting teenagers expert, and currently I'm helping parents dial down disrespect, right? Dial down teenage disrespect. So, would you like to know how I came to doing what I do?
Yes, please.
Right. I have been working with young people for over 20 years. And a couple of years ago, I began to see what I call a sort of a gap. And what was happening was, as we empowered young people to be highly effective, that was not happening with their parents. So there was a sort of divide, right? So we started to think, what can we do for the parents? Because the more we empower the young people, the more the parents are getting almost marveled and wondering, what's happening to my kid? And I began to see in our research, we began to see that most young people were saying they were lonely. And when we dug deeper, we began to find out that the reason they were lonely was because they were losing connection with their parents, right? So I thought, what can we do to help parents have that connection with their teenagers so that our young people are not being left lonely? And as both you and I know, lonely young people are so vulnerable to exploitation, and that's all sorts of exploitation. That's sexual exploitation, drugs exploitation, crime exploitation, and also mental health problems. Young people who are disconnected with their parents are very susceptible to those.
Right.
And so this is when I started actually working with parents as well as working with young people. I started working with parents as well to help them understand the importance of having this understanding and the connection with their young people. Yeah, so
Right.
that's my current story. Would you like me to go even further before
Not
the
at the not at the moment. Not at the moment. Let's scale it back a bit. What you're doing. The trouble is, so soon when it's someone's born, someone's grown up, and they're a teenager,
Mhm.
it's the responsibility of the parents how they bring up their children.
Yes.
Okay, but sometimes, only sometimes,
Yeah.
parents who work like 24 hours a day, say, don't
Mhm.
have time for their children,
Yeah.
so they get left for their own
Mhm.
devices and stuff.
Mhm.
So, what do you think about that?
It is. You are correct that most young people are left to their own devices, right? And that's why it's very important for parents to understand the importance of actually connecting with their young people, right? They may be busy doing everything else, but it's very important to make the main thing the main thing,
Right?
right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Absolutely. When we got kids, they they came to us so that we could continue to add life to them. We gave them life. And
Right?
that's including those of us who have given birth to our own kids, and those ones of us who have adopted. You gave that kid a leaf of life, right?
Right?
It doesn't stop once they land in your house, because life is an ongoing thing. So it's very important for us to carve that time to continuously have a relationship that is life giving.
Yeah, yeah,
So even in our busyness, even in our sorry, being so caught up with everything, we need to carve important time, especially for our teenagers. Now, here is the kicker. Our teenagers, they seem like they're independent. They can do whatever they like. And sorry. Shall I just grab a little bit
yeah.
of water?
Grab some water.
I don't know why I'm having a tickly throat. Sorry, everyone. Happens in life, right? So I was saying it's very important for us to be conscious as parents, because this is what happens. As much as our teenagers are seemingly independent, at that point, we know in research that is a point they need us even more than before.
Right. So, how do you?
Yeah.
So, why did you start what you're doing?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I realized that parents and teenagers are having a divide, and it's getting wider, and it's getting wider. And like I said before, when young people are disconnected from their parents, they are very vulnerable, right? They
Right.
are very vulnerable. So for us to make sure that we reduce that vulnerability, that's why I started speaking to parents and actually bringing us all in. By the way, I'm a parent of a teenager myself, and I have fallen short many times because of the reasons that you gave. Sometimes we are so busy, or because your kid is all independent, doing their own thing. We think they don't need us, right? So I'm not here to say that I'm all perfect. That there's nothing like that. I have to consciously carve time to have those moments, those connection moments, right? And the good thing with teenagers is you don't have to spend so much time with them. But when you spend that bit of time with them, make it count, right? And by the way, even spending time could be you picking up your phone, right? Some of these kids, they stay in their room forever, right? It could be as simple as picking up your phone and texting them, saying, hi, John. How are you doing up there? I hope everything is okay, right? You're not
Right.
asking them to do anything. You're not telling them to do anything. You are concerned about them as a human person.
Right.
Do you see?
Yeah, I see. But also, what I do see is this: that if you encourage people being on their phones,
Mhm,
okay, or it could be like computer, or it could be television, and if
mhm,
they've got homework to do,
mhm.
they'll probably play on their phone or watch TV, won't they?
Yes, they can. Yes, teenagers will, and they can, and they do.
Yeah. So they won't take no notice of us. If at the end of the day, if I say to my son, right, I want you to go and do your own work, you know, he might say, well, Dad, go away, or I'll do it in a minute, and he'd rather go out and play on his computer, say.
You're correct. They're likely to do that, right? But what I'm saying here is most of the time as parents, we so focus on what our kids ought to be doing, right? Than their actual well-being.
Well, that's the parents' fault, isn't it?
Well, you would say that. You would say that because, for example, the first thing when they come from, oh, have you got homework, right? When they go up in their room, what are you doing? Are you doing homework? So what we've done, we've turned them into human doings instead of actually being concerned about their well-being, them as a human person. Even, for example, something that I talk about a lot, for example, if your kid is running late outside, instead of calling them or texting them to ask them, where are you? If you turn that question to, hi, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you well? It's a whole different ballgame. You know why? Because asking them how they are feeling, how they are doing, appeals to the human person in them, the value in them.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand. It's the way we talk to our children, and it's the way we react. I can understand that. But the
Mhm,
trouble is, though, the trouble is, as a mother or a father, when we're bringing up children, we
mhm.
have a responsibility to look after our children, right?
Absolutely.
And we all have busy lives. Every one of us has busy lives,
Yes.
and sometimes our children will get put away to be second best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for
Mm-hmm.
some. I'm not saying everyone. I'm
Yeah.
saying for some. And the trouble is, and when you're doing that, you will lose your child because if you haven't got a close relationship with your child, and every time you put that child second best over your business or a relationship,
Mm,
your child is going to go further away from you.
absolutely. Absolutely. And Steve, you said it rightfully, like so correctly, you said it. We are putting them a second place, right? And inside themselves, they begin to feel I'm not important.
Yeah,
And when people don't feel important, how do they behave?
of course. And when they don't, and when they don't feel important, do you know what they do?
Hmm.
They look for people who will take notice of them, and what they do is they get in. Sometimes they get involved with the wrong crowd. They will do things to be noticed. They could be involved in drugs, knife crime, anything, just for their parents to notice them.
Absolutely. Do you know what? You said it so correctly, and I was hoping that this would come out with you, because sometimes when people are listening, it's very important that you as a parent and or the viewer, you are thinking the same, so that I'm not the one telling you. We know that that is what happens, right? We know that that's what happens, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
where the danger comes in, right?
yeah, yeah.
This is
If
where
you think
the
if you think you're gonna have a perfect life with your teenager, then you
Mhm.
got another thing coming because the trouble is with teenagers, they're gonna do their own thing. They're not gonna take notice of mum or dad when they're a teenager and grow up, right? Only time they'll take notice if you lock them in a bedroom or something, or lock them in a room. Then then that's that's against that's these days that's against the law anyway. But what I'm trying to say is to all you got to do is instead of putting your child second best, if you
Mhm.
say, okay, I'm going to spend some time with my child today,
Yeah.
okay, even if it's half an hour or whatever it is or hour, and feel that they are wanted
Hmm.
and show them your love, then
Yes.
that's all what they want.
Absolutely. And like I said, teenagers, in fact, it's not even about half an hour. It could even be a little bit of an exchange. Like when just ask them, how would you like me to spend time with you today? Today, show them that I am available, right?
Mm.
I am available. Like say to them, "Oh, I've got how would you like us to spend time on, let's say, on Thursday?" They probably say, "Oh, some of them will say, oh, I've got whatever to do on Thursday." Then when you start that conversation, you can say to them, "When are you available to hang out with me?" Right? Most of them don't actually want to hang out with you, because especially when it's outside. But if it's something fun, if it's something they are choosing and they like to do, they're likely to go for it. For example, if your kid loves, maybe, I don't know, going for coffee, or boys, whatever they love, it's up to us as parents to identify what is it that ticks for my kid. It could even be playing that game that you don't like with them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So here I'll tell you a story. About a year ago, I mean, during the lockdown, my teen daughter took onto this TikTok thing, dances and all that. And in my heart, I was thinking, I'm so against this. She spent so much time on that, and it became like a bone of contention between the two of us.
Right.
And so, but then it went on for a day, another day, and I thought, no, this is not working. What can I do? What can I do? Because it's about me. We are the grown-ups. We have to initiate these conversations and these relationships, right? So I said to myself, what can I do? What can I do? So this thought came to my mind, and one of the days I said to her, Dee, do you know that those TikTok dances, yeah, just show me how, like actually what happens, and like how you formulate those dances and all. Do you know, just the fact that I asked that question, the fact that she felt, oh, mom is interested, and because they are teenagers, if they are interested in something, they really associate themselves with it. So if I'm interested in what they are interested in, they think that I value them, right? So do you know what? She turned out, she was like, oh, this is what happens, this is what happens. And then she became like the teacher. It's like she took back her power, right? Now, instead of us fighting and haggling and hustling over this thing, she felt empowered now to tell me what happens and what happened. Do you know, within a week, I was getting involved in those dances. By the way, I still don't like them. It's not my thing. But for the sake of her, I made time to do some of the things that she loves to do, right? So we need to be prepared to throw ourselves out of our comfort zone sometimes.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. Um, with the trouble is though, with any child, the trouble is, we got to kind of learn to spend time with them.
Oh yeah.
If we don't spend any time, then how do you expect us to connect? How do you expect us to have a relationship?
Absolutely. And I like the questions that you're asking. I love them because I'm thinking, think of your kid as your friend. I know most people jump up when I say that, and especially in teenage years. I've heard many parents say, oh, I'm here to be your parent, not to be your friend. And this is what I say to them: woe unto you, because when they hit teenage years, the game changes. It's no longer I tell you what to do and you do what I say. That blind obedience goes, right? It goes out of the window. That's why we need to turn this around into a partnership, right? You still are the parent, but make it into a partnership, right? And this, when you make it into a partnership and a friendship, then you are able to develop trust. I want to ask you something. Is it possible to develop trust with someone who's not a friend?
Um, Not really.
Not really. So why is it that as parents we say, "Oh, I'm not here to be your friend," and then we want them to trust us, and we want them to listen to us. We want them to be honest with us.
Well, it's our child. It's not a friend, is it? It's our child. So we can if we give them another title, they feel left out. So to my children to me, it's my children. So it's my son or my daughter.
Mhm.
They so for a friend, my friends are second to me. My family comes first, then my friends. But what I'm trying to say is, my children are not my friends. They are they are my children. They're my blood. They are my soul and everything. So do you get what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're trying to say, and if we move away from semantics in terms of the meaning of the words, let's talk in terms of uh, if you're saying that they're your family, how we know that some families don't treat each other well. Is that okay?
Well, the trouble is, in life with families, I'm a Christian. So the trouble is, in families, every family has has their problems, right? You tell me a perfect family. There is no perfect family out there.
There
Right?
is absolutely, and I'm glad you put it out there that you're a Christian. And I want to jump on this because I feel like you've almost given me that, you know, I want you to think of God as a parent, right? God
Right.
as our father, God as our provider, God as our friend, God as our example of parenting. So why is it that we, even as Christians, right, find it hard to declare that our kids can be our friends? Yet we are called to follow the example of God, our Father, who Almighty, right? By Him being our friend, by Him being our Father and our friend, it doesn't diminish His power.
No.
And go on.
But the trouble is, so what you've got to realize is that, as I was saying just now, every family has their ups and downs. They have their problems.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, in my life as a Christian and in my church, where I go, we all have our problems. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in church has their problem. Now,
Everyone.
every one of us, right? We every one of us, we're not perfect. Now, the trouble is, so when we have children,
Mm-hmm.
and when we are not showing them example,
Mm-hmm.
because you know soon we have children,
Mm-hmm.
our responsibility is to
Yes.
teach them, guide them, love
Yes.
them,
Yes.
right, and
Yes.
bring them up the best of our ability,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, even though they're your children, they're also God's children,
Oh yeah.
right? So, but what I'm trying to say is that we need to show example. And
Mm-hmm.
if we have busy lives, as I keep saying,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't spend much time with our children and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
rather go out doing other things
Yeah.
and not concentrating on our family, our
Yeah.
children,
Mm-hmm.
then we're doing something wrong.
Absolutely. It's priorities. It's priorities, isn't it? It's about priorities. And we know what is important to you, you will allocate time for it. True or not?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think we need to allocate ourselves time for our family, time for our faith, and I think it's like me, right? Faith,
Mm-hmm.
my family, my friends, and whoever else comes after.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I love everybody. I ain't got nothing against anybody. I love everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the trouble is, so what you got to say. Sometimes when we have children and they're gone teenagers, they
Mm-hmm.
do get out of control. We can bring them up and we can give them all the teaching. We can give them all the advice, but sometimes it's not good enough because what they want to do, they want to do like a Frank Sinatra. They want to go their way, right?
But I'm getting excited about this conversation because, right? Because that is the mistake, especially as Christians, we make because we think, oh, I did my job when they were younger, so I'm sorted, right?
Mm.
It's the same as saying, oh, I planted the seed, right? I don't have to do anything else. It
Oh
doesn't work
no.
like that. When the plant is a shoot, we have to be over there, maybe getting the weeds away,
Mm.
pruning it, and all that. And then when it gets older, we have to continuously work on our. That is our mission. That
And,
is our
and
mission as
and
parents.
eventually we will see the maturity of it,
Absolutely. And
right?
and I like what you're saying because what happens as in psychology we know, and I think everyone knows that kids are born and they change. We all change, isn't it? We all
Yes,
change.
yes.
So in teenage years, their brain begins to develop in a different way, right? They begin to want their own independence, their own autonomy. They begin to want to, like you said, do their own thing, like they're listening to a different drama. But what if what if we supported them in listening to that different drama? Because this is one thing I believe, that God has put the Holy Spirit in all of us, right? It's not in one person and not in another. It's not in a grown up and not in a kid, right? So, what if we help them to listen to that clean and clear voice, right? Helping them, you don't need to listen to me anymore if you don't want to, although I would encourage you to listen because I have some advice. But what about listening to the truth in you, which I believe is the Holy Spirit, or what we call the intuition, the inner tutor, right? So
Right.
when they get to teenage years, we begin to teach them in a different way about listening to the voice to the voice of God. The voice of God that tells you, right? Again, it's about continuous living, right? Propagation of life.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm getting you. Go on.
Yeah, so what I do and what I encourage parents to do is what we have something called the 5 habits of highly effective teenagers, right?
Right.
And the first habit, which is an R, is respect. And most people think, oh, respect is saying, oh, hello, yes, and thank you. It's more than that. It's really more than that. It's respecting yourself as a being, as a unique person. And when you respect yourself as a unique person and actually understand your physiology, your biology, your psychology as a person, right? You have so much respect because you understand, oh my goodness, I am so magnificent, as a person. So when a teenager understands that, do you know it's so unlikely that they're going to do things that are defeatist, things that harm themselves, and in doing that they are unlikely to harm another person because they understand how magnificent they are, right? So this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what we are talking about. About you said that they listen to a different drama, right? But this drama, I believe, if we help them to actually listen to their intuition, they cannot be wrong. They can't go wrong because nature is not wrong. God is never wrong.
And that's true. I tell you what, I would love you to come back again, and we're going to talk about more about this because I think this is a good conversation, and it's already kicked off on Facebook, on my radio site. And Angela, I will get my wife to contact you, and she will book you back in again. I think this is brilliant. We got lots and lots of questions.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, I haven't got time to read them out at the moment
Oh, bless you.
because I've got more shows to do today.
Yeah.
But this one thing, what I like to say is this: that if anybody is out there and they're struggling with whatever, with the child or children or whatever it is,
Mhm.
being a parent is really tough. It's really hard.
It's hard, I tell you.
It is hard. It is hard, especially when you got teenagers.
Hmm.
And there can be a right pain in the neck.
Oof.
But but what we got to do is that at the end of the day, we had them, and we have to look after them. So
Mhm.
all I'm saying is this: that if you're struggling, right, just
Yeah.
contact us, and we can get you some help, and we can put you in contact with people. That's what we do here at Crossroads. We don't. Anybody who is listening now, please contact us,
Wow.
and we will kind of like try to help you and do everything. Angela, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I'm so honored. And just like Steve said, I'm telling you guys, do not suffer in silence. All of us. And as you listen to these stories, I share a lot about my struggles with my own. Even in my position as an adolescent psychologist, I can tell you, as a parent of a teenager, I struggle and I suffer. But we don't have to suffer alone. And that's why I'm so glad that you're listening to this because, for example, Steve, you've made this. This is the village we need. You know, it takes a village to raise a kid. And by you just listening to this, you're just doing yourself one of the best favors that you can do to yourself as a parent. So I am so grateful for this. And I'm so grateful for all of you that are listening.
Thank you so much. So we will try to get Angela back some more time. Don't forget, guys, we got more stuff coming on today. We got and lots of people are saying when is Father Ray Kelly coming back? He is coming back very soon, I promise. We are still trying to book him up, but we've got loads of people coming up, and please join us and support us. And also, if you would like to be part of this fantastic podcast and radio, you can be. Just please contact me. We're always looking for people. So anybody out there who wants to be involved as a presenter or if they want a slot and everything, please come to us and we can be able to help you. In the meantime, see you later, guys. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye for now.